Welcome, everybody, to Saves Together, a podcast about playing games together. Whether that means co-op or passing the controller back and forth or just playing the same game at the same time, it doesn't matter how. It only matters that it's together. Because if you save together, you stay together.
Oh, I thought that was my term.
I couldn't remember if you liked that or not. We did that.
I don't think I did.
But it's been a while because you're back this time.
I am back.
I did one alone. Save Together Home Alone, episode something.
That was great.
Wasn't it? Did you listen to it?
No.
Yeah, see?
I'm sure it was great.
It's whatever. I like the idea that we could do that if you were too busy. It's like, well, at least we're adhering to a schedule. You can do one sometimes. I'll do another one sometime.
Yeah. Probably not like super often, but every so often.
No.
If one of us gets sick, just to keep episodes coming
And I don't
out.
ever want to do a clip show.
No, definitely not.
Some podcasts would do that.
And I don't like clip shows.
Right, because it's like, maybe not us, obviously, but if you've been listening to it, if you're a fan, you've already heard all this stuff. And for me, I don't really double watch or double listen to a lot of things.
I'm thinking about maybe doing a promo someday of
that
just like
should be a clip show.
But definitely not an episode. Because every time no offense to popular podcasts, but every time it's a clip show, I'm like, well, I'm fucking disappointed.
Yeah, and I usually don't listen.
Yeah.
This is episode 10, and the topic for today is
A Way Out.
I'm Craig McGowan. That's
Grace Novak.
And
this is the show.
This is the show. What have you been playing? That's what we do here, right?
Yeah, we do.
See, look at that. I remember.
I've been playing Hyrule Warriors.
No, you haven't.
Sorry. Oh my god. I just totally blanked. I've been playing Fire Emblem Warriors, which is like the same game.
Yep, so I was going to say, I think that little mental hiccup says a lot.
Yeah, well, Hyrule Warriors also was just re-released on Switch, so it's also in my head for that reason. I loved Hyrule Warriors. I bought it twice. I bought it on the Wii U and the Nintendo 3DS, and I played through it twice, and I put many hours into it. And it was also my first Dynasty Warriors game. Musou game. And I really liked it, and so I got this game. Actually, Craig got it for me from a friend from work, which was nice, because I wasn't going to pull the trigger on it because I didn't really, really want it, but now I've started playing it, and it's a really good in-between game I'm waiting on another game to come in the mail. I'm waiting for Owlboy, which is coming next week.
Owlboy! Hoot hoot!
Yeah, the physical edition.
I don't know anything about it. It's 2D platformer?
I know little about it. I know that
was a question.
It is. It is a 2D platformer. I know I've been excited for it. I've seen the trailer a while ago, and it just looks really cute and fun. I like platformers that are different, but I heard it's pretty good, so...
I'm excited to watch it.
Yeah.
My brain doesn't really think it's very fun to play 2D platformers. I generally don't play those.
What have you been playing, Ben?
I've been playing. I just got SSX, the 2012 version, because it was backwards compatible, and I've been looking for a copy that's not exorbitantly priced, because everyone I find is way too overpriced, if you ask me, for a game that's 6 years old.
What's the most that you saw, the highest price?
Well, I went to Book Off. We're in New York. There's a Book Off, which is a Japanese used everything store.
Yeah.
It's a pretty cool store. Check it out. I went there, and I was like, this place will definitely have it. Someone will have traded this game in. And I look it up. I find it, and I pick it up, and it's $30. And that's a lot of money for a game that's old that nobody liked. You know what I mean?
I thought people did like this game.
I think it wasn't hated like Tony Hawk's 5 level, but it wasn't it's not I understand when Smash Bros or whatever, Nintendo games in general, or what's another, Black Ops, I bet is still $30. You know, those make sense to me, but this isn't a game anybody was playing. Why is this so expensive? But then I found it for $6 online, so suck it, Book Off.
Oh,
I like you, but anyways.
State of Decay too, right?
Oh yeah. Dude, you always remind me of the stuff I'm playing because I always get so hyped up.
Because you were just playing SSX today, so you forget.
And Fallout 4.
Yeah, that's right.
State of Decay 2 is kind of sort of like Animal Crossing, which is what made me like it more when I came to that realization. So you go around the open world and you collect resources, and basically the reason that I realize it's kind of like Animal Crossing, other than
the talking animals.
Right. Other than all the talking animals, is the villagers basically will call you up on your radio and be like, "Yo, you didn't satisfy my needs. I'm out of here." And I was like, "What?" Huh? So
how many villagers do you have at a time?
I mean, so you have people in your compound. I have 5 currently. I don't know how many you can get. I assume you can get a bigger place with more people. but also there's other factions around. There's like the drunkards, the moonshiners, and they're like always drinking and they want to go find alcohol stuff. But like I didn't help. I don't remember their names. The Lowlanders or something. And they called. They're like, we're leaving. Like thought you were cool, and then they left. And like so I don't know how many like I don't know if that's a permanent thing. Like in that world that I'm playing, are they gone or will a new tribe move in? Is it kind of procedural? I don't know. It's kind
And
of
it's
fun.
co-op too, right?
Yeah, I got thoughts on that. That maybe I'll give you another time.
Yeah, when you
I've
play more
played
of
it more,
it. Okay.
I've played more single player now. I got thoughts.
You got thoughts.
Ooh.
You'll share them one day.
Let's talk about A Way Out. Did I say
Yeah,
I did.
we did.
I definitely said A Way Out.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's talk about A Way Out. Developed by Hazelight Studios, published by EA, and directed by Joseph Fuck the Oscars Fares, it came out on March 23rd, 2018, for Windows, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One. And I think, and we got it on PlayStation 4, and I think we got it the day it came out. I was pretty excited about this game.
You were, except you were disappointed the fact that there was or was not a physical release.
All right.
There's a lot of controversy
If you know me,
in our household about this.
I like physical games.
Yes, you
We
do.
looked it up the day it came out, and we're like, oh, looks like there's no physical.
Yeah, we saw nothing about it.
When you go to Amazon, it just said, like, buy a download code. Like, I did not see a single thing. And then at work, like, 3 days later, a physical copy shows up for somebody, and I was very upset.
Wait, so I'm so confused. So
It
there is
just
a
was.
physical
Yes,
copy.
Yes, I physically saw the physical copy with my physical eyeballs.
Dude, I googled the shit out of it and I couldn't find anything.
I don't know why that happened, but
It's bizarre.
Anyway.
So anyway, we got the digital edition on the PS4. That's what we did.
so A Way Out is like
A game.
it's a game. That's the genre is game. It's a co-op required.
Mhm.
No way to play it without co-op. Like a linear story. You know, like a
Very linear.
like an action adventure game.
Yeah.
What I really like about it is it requires co-op, and if you have a copy of it, I can play it for free over the internet without. I think I don't even have to have PlayStation Plus. Not that that matters because we played on the couch.
I don't think that's true. That cannot
No?
be true.
It's definitely free.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't. Either way, because they're like, hey, it's a very smart move. Because they're like, hey, a single player cannot enjoy this at all, and some people can't convince their friends to spend 30 on. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I think that was really really cool of them, and I know most games aren't gonna be able to do that because most games aren't absolutely required co-op, but.
It's a big incentive if you're not sure about getting this game because
Yeah.
of that reason to get it.
All right, so let's talk about the co-op factors. The type of co-op: couch, online, split screen, same screen, literally all of the above.
All of them, all of the above.
Yeah.
Depending on what you're doing.
What the split screen too is really cool is it's a dynamic split screen.
Yeah,
it's not dynamic.
is.
It's
No,
not
it is
dynamic. No, because to me, dynamic I think would mean like reacts to you. It's like a forced when something cool is happening to your character and nothing important is mine. Like you're the focus
Why
of the
is
story.
that not reacting to me?
Because it's scripted into the story.
You know, I gotta say though, I would still call it dynamic.
It basically is. It will shrink mine down to like a fifth of the screen, and her screen will take up the most of it. And because she's having the most important conversation with
I think that's the first time I've ever seen that in a co-op game.
me too. I think it's probably been done. I could imagine like
Maybe, but not. Yeah, maybe
not
like an
to
indie
this
game.
extent.
Yeah.
shared loot or XP. There is none.
No
There's
loot.
no. It's not really like
No
an RPG
XP.
at all. It's think Uncharted. I honestly
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was about to say that.
think a little bit Uncharted. Kind of story wise and not pacing wise.
There's no collectibles. There's very little to the content
Yeah.
as far as anything beyond the story and just the gameplay. You know what I'm saying?
Also, I'm just gonna say this now.
Mhm.
I think if you have any interest at all, don't listen to this because there's something. I think
I think it's a good experience.
it's a really cool experience, and even if you know it's coming, I still think it's more fun to not know. So I really do
Yeah.
think if you have any interest at all, maybe don't listen to this because I'm about to spoil it soon. Friendly fire. When you're playing, all right, go away. I'm serious. Go away, everybody. Not everybody. Some of you stay. When you're playing co-op together, you're escaping prison together. I don't think there's any way to hurt each other. Like
No, if you mouse your gun over to your friend, it just has an X. You can't
Yeah.
shoot.
so
So it doesn't even let you fake shoot.
But then
But
go
then
away.
there is.
But then there's some very friendly fire.
I wouldn't even call it friendly fire. I would
It's not
call it
friendly
like
fire.
it becomes
It becomes a
competitive.
different, it becomes a, oh God. This, I can't wait to talk about experience.
Wow, he was excited.
Separate mode or full blown mode. There's
It's
nothing
the only
you can do
mode.
alone. Drop in, drop out. We never really, since we only played together.
It's irrelevant because you can't play by yourself. So it's not like you can drop into a game that's already co-op.
Difficulty in co-op. I guess I don't have to specify it's in co-op since the whole thing is difficulty. I don't think it's a difficult game at all.
No, there's no difficult choices.
There's not. Yeah, is there not? I don't know
I don't
I don't know what it would be. There's not much.
I don't think that there was.
There's not much in the line of what's that like?
Challenges.
Yeah. I guess. Did we discuss any strategies or tactics? No, because
not really. I feel like the game kind of lays out the strategies for you. I mean, you have choices, right? Like I can distract the guard and Craig can escape behind him. So that you could choose who does that. I'll be like, I'll escape behind him. You distract the guard.
You have choice adjacent choices.
That's what I mean. That's what I'm saying.
No, it's not really a choice.
It's a choice in that you can choose who does
it,
what,
and that's it.
That's
it's
what
not
I meant.
like you.
That's what I meant. I'm not saying that there's branching paths. I'm saying there's literal branching paths as far as he can go down this path and I can go down that path.
And someone has to go down one, and someone has to go down the other.
Right.
All right. So let's talk about our experience.
Okay.
Now, I'll say this now, and then I'll specify that I'm not going to review based on this. But at the beginning, especially, I really wanted this game to be something else. So it was hard for me at first to get away from the idea that what I wanted this game to be was a co-op, open world prison break, kind of real time feeling. Like I wanted to break out of prison, and it's an open world, and we have to make our strategy. We have to figure out how to get out of prison.
That's what I thought it was going to be too.
I know it wasn't really promised as that. So, and I know that that's not what the game is. So I'm not going to review based on that because eventually I accepted what it was. But it really did at the beginning. I just was like fantasizing about like how cool it would be if like you had to go to the gym and I had to go to the mess hall.
Like a prison simulator kind of.
Yeah, like if there was a prison break simulator, that'd be cool.
That would be cool.
But I'll pull myself away from what I wanted it to be and put myself back to what it actually was. I felt like the pacing was really wrong, especially when I was thinking it was something else at first. But the pacing doesn't feel great of like, here's we have to get a knife. We got a knife. We have to get a spoon. We got a spoon. Like those aren't exact examples of what we did, but it's like, all right, we have to get a prison guard uniform. We did it.
I think a big issue also with, and going along with what you're saying, is there's no transitions. The way this game works is there are chapters and you can go back and revisit them, but there's no transition from scene to scene. In Uncharted, it's similar in that there's like clearly like a scene in this location, but there's traveling usually to the next location or a conversation, a cutscene. But in this game, it's just like, we're in the laundry room. Okay, we're getting a knife with the laundry basket. Next thing you know, we're in our cells. We're using the knife. Yeah. It's just like, what?
Yeah, I didn't get a good sense of time passing. I think it maybe even has said like 9 months later or something, but it didn't feel like time passed.
Right.
Now, I think a big problem is it's called A Way Out, and the game doesn't get good until you're already out. So it should be called like We Got Out.
Yeah, it feels like most of the game takes place outside the prison, actually.
It's not really about a way out. It's about what you did afterwards.
Yeah.
So that maybe helped me. That maybe hurt my opinion, of like, hey, it's not about getting out. It's really not at all. It's about what happens after. Because I don't think it's good when you're in the prison.
Me neither.
I will say,
it's too
I didn't
slow
like it at all.
Just like kind of weird.
And because you're not, it doesn't feel like you're building a plan. You're just like you meet and you've never even known each other before, and you meet and then you're just agreeing to help. And he's like, all right, we're going by my plan. Okay, but what's the plan? Why are you? Who are you? It didn't feel. There's a part where like. This is why the whole prison part sucks. Let's get the prison part out of the way, and then we'll talk about the rest. Because I do think it kind of changes. I don't want to say drastically, but it changes pretty big, at least for me. It's just not a prison break game that makes any sense. There's so many like logical fallacies of like nobody hears us yelling in this vent right now, or like the guards were in the one. There's one little mission. Are they missions? Whatever,
chapters.
Like chapter.
I want to call them chapters.
There's one chapter where you're slowly unscrewing the toilet and getting through the vent in the toilet, and the guards are patrolling every maybe 15 or less seconds. 15 fucking seconds they're looking in our cell. Then the next mission, when we go out through the tunnel we just dug, we don't do the whole like put a fake, like 80s movies always had like the girls or like the kids sneak out and put pillows under the blanket to look like they're sleeping. We don't do anything like that. We're just not in our fucking cell. And these guards that we're checking every 15 seconds are no longer checking our cell. We're not in there. There's clearly we are gone. Like, but we're just supposed to believe nobody checked. Like, there's a lot of stuff like that, or just like, you didn't see me. Really, you didn't see me.
I mean, that stuff, it's funny. I feel like it bothers me a lot less than you. And that happens when we watch movies too. Like and I think people will react differently to that kind of thing. That's not the thing that bothers me, but I'm still bothered by the game in general. It's like, I don't even notice that.
I couldn't get over it. I was like, how
Yeah.
you, like, we're like in event system and you're like, ding, 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 I'm here, bang, bang, bang. And it's like, how does no one hear this? It's a prison. The whole point is nobody gets out, and here we are just
it definitely felt extremely easy to have like prison.
Pretty freely walking around the back doors of prisons and stuff.
Yeah.
And I've never broke out of prison, but I think they would notice. So I wouldn't care about them not seeing us in our cell, except for the fact that the one mission before, they checked every 15 seconds. You know what I mean? Like, that to me doesn't add up.
Mm-hmm.
If they never did the checking part, it's just like, oh, maybe it's a lax prison. I believe that might be a thing where they just check every hour. But yeah, in the prison, there's a lot more examples. I won't go into details, but there's a lot of examples of just logical fallacies for me that I'm like, this is fucking stupid. But then we get out of prison. I mean, well, so what didn't you like about in the prison though? Because you
I mean, you pretty much covered it. Like I said, for me it was just transitioning, pacing, and general, like, this is too easy, and I don't buy it.
I remember like being on chapter 4.
It didn't feel thrilling. Like, escaping prison should give you like adrenaline.
I played the Great Escape game on original Xbox, so an old game at this point, based on a 60s movie, and the whole game was based about getting out of prison. And that, even though it was a linear story, not the free roaming, thing that I was fantasizing, it was like a similar thing. That felt like it took a while, and then there was some like tense parts, and there's a way to do it, and I
feel like you can definitely make a whole game just about getting out of prison.
Yeah, and like I said,
that's what we thought this was.
And even farther, even more back from that, I was imagining how crazy a different game would be.
Right.
But
yeah, then you get out of prison, and I think the game gets better.
One of my first notes was, it's chapter 4, and none of this feels tense. It feels like there's zero stakes at all. Yeah,
that's for sure.
There's no penalties, really. Not game penalties on the player, but I mean penalties on these people.
No consequences.
But yeah, that was, so by chapter 4, I don't remember what chapter you get out, but at chapter 4, my note is, this game has no stakes or tensosity?
Okay.
Tense-y. Anyway, so you get out of prison. Yeah. You get out of prison, and I think that's where the game starts, if you ask me. Like, if my memory and funness starts.
And I think a big reason is because you get to the people's house. That's like the first moment when you get to do something kind of interesting, which is when you get to choose. Now, this is the first time you get your choice, right? So you can go back and play the other choice. But we did, and it's not super different.
Oh, yeah. So you get out of prison, and there's a farmhouse. Mm-hmm. Like, because the prison's like in the woods, and then you get out of it, you climb down, and there's an old man and an old lady eating breakfast together, and the news is like, prisoners escaped from the prison. And they're like, oh, God, Marty, I'm scared. He's like, don't be. I got a gun. And so then it tells you, like, so what do you want to do? Like, do you want to... You get
to either go... Okay, so let me just back up and say that there's two characters, Leo and Vincent, and that's who we're playing as. And every time you start the game again, every time you went back to the game, you pick your guy again. So you don't have to stick with the same dude every time, but to be honest, it's not like you're playing a whole different character. There's nothing different about these characters.
No stats or anything.
Right. Nothing is different except for their personalities and what they say when they interact with objects. So for every one of the choices in the game where there aren't many branching paths and they lead to the same result, it's usually a divide in their personality. So Vincent, who is the character Craig was playing as the whole time.
If you need a visual aid, I could not get Dante Hicks from Clerks out of my brain. That's all I could see the whole time. I was like, what the fuck is Dante Hicks escaping prison for?
He's the pacifist for sure. He's like the nice guy in quotes, the family man.
Yeah.
And then Leo is
He's the
crazy
He's
Italian
a crazy
man.
one. He does funny stuff like lick things on a grill. Like some of his actions, I was like, all right.
Both of the performances are not great. First of all,
Yeah.
So yeah, Leo is more of like the aggressive one, the one who wants to do crazy shit. So his option was either we're gonna go in, tie them up, and like intimidate them and tie them up basically, and then the other option was Vincent's. We're gonna release the horses in the back, and they'll go out and chase the horses from their barn.
Yeah.
So the first time we went with the horses, and that was pretty easy. You just release the horses from the barn, and then you get to go fuck around in the house. And I think that was the first time we're like, this is fun. Yep. Because we feel like we have free reign.
A little bit before that, I think, was the fishing.
Oh, right.
So that was the first, was like, what is this?
We just splashed around in the pond.
Yeah, you could like splash each other. Like, and it was stupid, and it was like, what is this? And the game needed that kind of thing earlier
right.
to set the tone of like, hey, you get to fuck around, kind of.
Because I can understand why someone would start playing this game and be like, this is stupid and not fun.
And be like, this is too deadly serious prison break. And it's like not a deadly serious prison break. Like,
there were some like funny weird things you could do in the okay, so there's funny weird things you could do in the house that makes sense why you would do those things. And then remember, like, you could interact with objects in the prison that made no sense why they would let you.
Oh,
like,
God,
you could,
there's a lot of that in this game.
You'd be in the woodworking workshop because you needed to get a tool, and you could just be like, I'm gonna go interact with this screwdriver, and he would just screw things. He would just screw things,
he wouldn't
and
stop.
Nothing else.
Yeah, or
why is this interesting?
He'd go to the drill press and he'd just drill press down, and I don't even know if he would say anything. He would just bring the drill press down.
He wouldn't say anything,
and it would just be drilling into nothing.
Fucking
and you
love
could stand
drilling.
there, yeah. And I think maybe he might have been like, "Oh, nice machine." Like,
yeah.
And it's like, why
it's
the
like,
fuck is this in here?
This isn't telling us anything about the character or the story. It's not funny. It's not interesting.
So I brought up the licking thing that Leo did as kind of a bad example.
In the trailer park, right?
Maybe that's a better example. You at one point you come across a grill, and maybe this isn't a bad thing.
This is a good example because at least it shows you character
Yeah, that's
stuff.
why I was just realized. Like he there's like something grilling on a grill that's unattended, and he picks it up and he like bites it or licks it, and he's like, that's good.
And then Vincent will do something different.
And then when Vincent goes over to it, he just looks at it, he's like, smells good, right? Mm-hmm. So that actually is better than just like pulling the drill press down, which
I felt like they just wanted to give you something to interact with because you're in the prison and it's fucking boring. Like, prison in general is not fun.
Right.
So they had to like, what can we like give them to do?
Yeah, it just needed like more time. If we're going to go back to prison real quick, it just needed more time of doing boring prison shit before you start breaking out. It opens with like,
they should have leaned harder into it. Like you need to,
make me
a
go
license
to the mess
plate.
hall. Make me like stitch somebody's underwear.
Right.
Like
lean into that like
instead you get out
boringness.
way too quickly.
Yeah.
And it wasn't fun. But we discussed that. So the house is where it really opens up for that kind of thing, the goofiness.
Yeah, so that's when you can start interacting with stuff, and they introduce mini games. Like, you get these like horseshoes. There's horseshoes in the back, and you can go and it will count your score, and you can start playing horseshoe with the other person, and that's fun. That part is fun. You can just like go upstairs and what was there? There was like a piano and a guitar.
A piano and a banjo.
That was cool because it had like a rhythm game.
Yeah.
You could play a rhythm game. And then if you played each instrument with each character, eventually they started playing together and you got a trophy for it.
Yeah.
Which was cool. That was this is fun.
Oh, this is
some co-op fun gameplay I want to see.
And they explained why those motherfuckings they explained why those people aren't there. Like, they're looking for their horses or they're tied up.
Right.
Like, rather than they're just not noticing.
Right.
Like, all they needed for the damn prison escape part was just like a reason the guards aren't looking in here.
Yeah.
And here you go.
It would have been interesting to do like a riot or something. I don't know. We could talk about that all day because there could have been so many solutions.
I gotta hang up, I guess, about the prison.
Yeah.
Throughout the entire game, there wasn't a good sense of where we came from to where we are now. Like, because the pacing was so wrong.
Yeah.
That's just a little gripe I had. I think that could have helped taking
the game.
like
feeling like a development and story?
Like, if they had, back to the prison, but if they had let us spend time in the prison and then like later when you're leaving the mountains, you see the prison way up on the hill, you're like, that's where we came from. That type of thing.
And that goes back to what I'm saying about transitions. Like, that could have been a good transition.
Yeah, because you end up in fucking Mexico in this game, and it doesn't feel like it. Like, I think we started in,
I
like,
forgot.
Maine.
You just said that, and that doesn't make any sense.
Right. Like, how the hell did these people... I mean, they explain it, but it's not... It's the whole game to me feels like a rough draft, a really good rough draft,
Yeah, yeah.
but a rough
Like
draft.
a good concept, a good idea, but
Like
it didn't get there.
like maybe Uncharted to Uncharted 2. Uncharted, it's a cool game. Uncharted 2, that game blew my mind. You know what I mean? Like it's not a bad. This game is not bad.
Mm-hmm.
It just
Yeah, I think it's a good idea, and I
little rough
think
around the edges.
people should play it. I think
Yeah.
it's a good experience. Like we got through it and we weren't bored. And once you get out of the prison, it's a lot
Mhm.
better.
I'd say try to on your first session get the hell out the prison. So then the next time,
yeah, it's more exciting.
it's way better.
The shooting was so bad.
Eventually you get guns. The shooting's not great at all. It's very much waves of people coming in, and it's not a shooter, so the controls are not tight like
Yeah.
a good shooter. Destiny,
Luckily,
Grand
it's
Theft
not
Auto.
difficult, so it doesn't have to be. But still,
Yeah, it's definitely it feels like a PS2 shooter.
yeah,
It does. The aim is bad. There's
I think I was thinking when we were playing this game about arcade games that when you'd play 2-player like shooter games, it would give you your score at the end, your like co-op score. It'd be like, oh, you synced like 75% was your sync rate. And I like really wish this game had something like that. I would love to bring that like goofy thing back.
I think it would have been cool, like a friendship level or something.
Yeah, right.
Or like a
Just like a sync level.
Buddiness. Yeah.
Prison buddies level.
But I think what would have been cool with that type of thing there's a lot of times where I have to, let's say for example, I need to lift you up. So I have to go to the edge of whatever we're lifting you up, and I have to press R2 to drop my hand down, and then you have to go to the bottom where you are and press R2 to put your hand up. That's it. Like it's just you just do the control at the same time. I wish that there had been more, especially in the more tense parts where you're like escaping and running. I wish there had been more like you need to do it at the same time, or you need to do it more complex. Like a part where I think we're getting shot at and we're hanging on the side of a building, and I need to grab you or somebody. One of the characters has to grab the other character and swing them.
Mm-hmm.
All you had to do is hold R2 and he just sticks his hand out and he's just waiting for you to press R2. And I wish it would have been like press R2 to stick your hand out for a second and then he brings it back. So you have to like sync up okay, get ready, jump, instead of just like press R2. All right, we're good.
There was some of that. Like, there was one moment that I liked where we had to hit the door at the same time.
Yeah.
When the thunder boomed, so that the guards wouldn't hear us.
That's the only time.
Yeah, that is the only time. And I thought it was like, this is a good idea. Yeah. This is a good idea of a co-op like experience.
Because if the whole game is forced co-op, then force me to work together. Right. Force me to do some co-op other than just press the button at the same time.
Because a lot of the times it felt like we were playing adjacently to reach a common goal. So I had to go do a thing while he did a thing, but it didn't feel like we were working. It only felt like we were working together because we're working towards the same goal. But in my mind, that's not the same thing as working together.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's like when you're in a team and doing a project, you're each doing your own part of the project. You're not really working together, you know?
And so there's a scene where you torture somebody. You climb to the top of a construction site and somebody's tied to a chair. You've tied him up to the chair. And you're going to torture them. And you just kind of take turns picking up items and sticking them with it. It doesn't feel like, oh yeah, like the torture scene in Grand Theft Auto 5, pretty powerful, I'd say. Like, say what you will about torture in games, but this scene is like he's tied to the chair and I walk over and I find a screwdriver and I jab him with it. And then you walk over with a purse and you dump a purse on his lap and say, this is your purse. And then like,
I your keys off the side of the wall.
Yeah. And I come back with a saw and I scare him with it. And it's like, you're just kind of like, okay, you go.
Forth.
Okay, you go. Okay, you go. It doesn't feel like they're not even saying stuff to each other. Like, check out this. I'm going to hit him with a saw. Like,
right.
Instead, it's just that. So that kind of thing happens a lot. Not a torture scene, but just like, okay, you do this one now. Okay, you do this one now. Cool.
I wish there definitely had been more, like you're talking about them talking to each other. I wish there had been more developing of their relationship.
Yeah.
Because their relationship ends up being a big part of this game, which makes sense, being a co-op game all about these two characters, but it didn't really feel real to me most of the time. I wish there had been more options of choosing to interact with your co-op partner and that have changing their relationship as the game goes on. Right. That would have been an interesting thing to do. There was a good moment. I don't know if you remember this, when we arm wrestled. We could arm wrestle each other, and do you remember we both had to tap the button really, really hard until one of us stopped tapping the button.
Right,
that was the first time it really, like, this actually felt like
that was competitive.
Yeah, that was competitive, but it was cool because I was like, we're really battling against each other. It feels like an arm wrestling match.
And
kind
I
of.
think I said, like, hey, they could totally make an arm wrestling video game out of this. Like,
because it was hard.
yeah, like, because you're actually, like, you know, when you spam X for so
Right.
long, like, it gets really hard.
Let's talk about the end of the game.
That's where I went from a meh, like a 6, I was like at a 6. Like, the game, it was fine. It was fun to play.
We go out of 5 here. In the
No,
saves
I'm
together.
not talking about my rating for it. Just like my excitement level,
What is your excitement level out of?
100. No, I don't know.
6
No.
out of 100.
No. But I wasn't. It was fine. It was cool. It was a B minus. It was a C minus.
Okay.
And then we do this. What I thought was the end. We catch this guy. Our
we
common.
We killed that guy.
Yeah, our common criminal, our common enemy.
Right.
We're all criminals. And it's like a really cool scene. You like,
it was cool.
you just like pull the trigger and like blam 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 blam. Both of you are just blamming at him, and he's like taking bullets,
and he falls into the pool.
He
right?
falls in the pool, and it's like this. All right, end credits are gonna roll. That was
know.
awesome.
I thought it was the end.
It was like Gatsby. It was cinematic, and then it doesn't end. And I'm like, oh, okay, fine. But that would have been a perfect place for credits to roll. Then we escape again from there because now his goons are coming after us down in Mexico, and we get back to America, right?
Yeah.
Before we're in the airplane.
Yeah.
And cuts back to the airplane.
The helicopter.
It's an airplane.
No, it's a helicopter.
That's an airplane. We had to get to Mexico.
Okay, you know what?
We took an airplane.
Care.
We went to the airfield.
I thought that was a helicopter the whole time.
Anyways, they're sitting in... The whole game is framed around them retelling kind of the story.
Yeah.
Because when you load the menu, the main menu is them in a helicopter. Or like the chapter select is them in a helicopter. I mean, oh my god, it's an airplane. It's them in an airplane, and then finally, now we're back at present day, essentially, you know, that common trope. And then they start to talk, and one of them goes to sleep, and they land the plane, and the cops surround the plane, which I was finally like, thank God someone didn't just let them get away with this.
Right, because it felt like they were just like, no one gave a fuck.
Yeah, the most luckiest criminals ever.
Yeah, for real.
So they get out of the plane, and the cops all had their guns drawn on them, and they're like, all right, turn yourselves in, boys. And then motherfucking Vincent says, I'm sorry, Leo. And we're like, what the hell are you sorry for, dude? And he fucking is a cop the whole time.
And it's so funny because I feel like had you really thought about it, you could hear that coming twist from like a mile away.
Dude, that's the most obvious twist of all time.
But for some reason it took us by surprise
and
so much.
I didn't catch it at all. It got me so good.
We're like, what?
And I think maybe because we played the character, maybe that helped.
Because if it was a movie, it might have been different. But
in a
because
movie, I'm trying to put myself in the writer
right.
and like, what are they doing with this character? But for me, I was the character, so it doesn't make sense that they'd make me a bad guy. I'm a good guy. But so he turns on him, and Leo's like, "What the fuck?" And Vincent's like, "Yeah, you fuck." And then I don't know where it goes from there. But
they chase each other.
They start
and then
chasing
they end
each
up
other
in a warehouse.
Yeah.
And then it's a shootout.
And it becomes one-on-one
knife
fucking
fight
death match, and it's awesome. Like, and the only reason it's awesome because it really isn't awesome. The controls aren't great, and the story's not great. But the only reason it's awesome is because we had all this build up as a team working together, and now we're taking it out on each other. And even in real life, I'm sweating. Like, I'm like, I will not fucking lose to you.
It got really intense.
I am not losing to you. And you're like, I'm not losing to you. And like, we're trying not to screen cheat, but you kind of have to because it's right there on the screen.
But you know what? I have to say, I thought they did a good job at making it harder for you to screen cheat because the environment is super, like...
It's designed to look very similar everywhere.
And no matter what you look at, it looks like you could be anywhere.
That's the kind of... So that attention to detail and game design is what I wanted for the rest of the game. Because this was fucking cool, man. And it wouldn't be cool if it was just like, all right, here's a game where you fight each other. That's not interesting. But the fact that we spent all this time together, we spent multiple days of playing the game together, and now all of a sudden, and I'm just like, I'm not fucking losing.
Was like more, it was really intense.
Yeah, I will not lose to you. And I didn't.
It felt
I just
like
want to say, and I didn't.
He won. The stakes were, that is the highest the stakes felt in that game. And I think that's the point.
And I think they do some rubber banding. I think that
what do you mean?
It takes health away.
Yeah, no, definitely. But I didn't understand how it was working.
Yeah, I don't know how it worked, the mechanic of it, but it definitely wants you to feel even and get further along. Like, you can't just headshot. It takes a lot of bullets.
It wants you to keep each other alive for a little bit at least.
And you transition through
different
works,
areas.
Though. I think it very much works because it made it even more tense. It's like, when is this gonna end?
And one of us, by the way, it has different endings depending on who kills who. We did look that up.
Yes, I actually don't know what the other ending was.
We looked it up, and it's pretty different.
Yeah.
Okay, so Leo died, right? I was Leo, and
I
you
don't
were Vincent.
think he died.
Yes, he did.
He definitely
died. And that was that's another thing. I died. Like, my character died, and I lost the game. That's how it felt. That's a big deal, because you don't respawn. That's the end of the fucking game, man.
Right.
I'm, like, emotional about this.
Dude, and this is the best. It sucks that I don't want to spoil that bit of the game for people, but I need to tell them to play it, you know?
Yeah.
But it's like, hey, just keep playing. Just trust me. Just
Mm-hmm.
play to the end with someone, the same person. Just trust me. Because you don't want to spoil it, because then I don't think it has nearly the same effect. What I do want to do is play with someone else, maybe, where I know what's coming, but I want to witness their reaction as it
that'd
unfolds.
be interesting.
And since you have the free play for someone else, it's totally possible.
I also wonder how the experience changes when it's online co-op as far as couch co-op, because I feel like maybe it's more intense on the couch, but you also don't have the advantage of having your own screen, which made me feel like
no. You would still see the split screen.
Oh, you still see split screen.
There's no way you don't. Because
Remember,
the game is designed.
We were thinking about this. We were like,
must.
do you think that it changes to single screen when it gets into the competitive shootout?
I highly doubt it. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I just don't
Probably
think...
not, right?
That would be cool, though.
So in that case, I feel like it's more tense with couch. So if you're going to play this game and you have someone like you can actually play with in person, I think you should do that instead. But if you can't, you should still play it online.
Yeah.
If you've gone this far and listened to all the spoilers.
At this point, now don't play it because you know how cool.
No, you still should.
No,
it's
I
still
think
fun.
It's a very cool experience. It just has that weird... It's like Game of Thrones. Like, hey, you got to get through the first season. Season 2 is great, though. Kind of.
Okay,
It feels
this
like
is
that.
not like fucking Game of Thrones.
No, what I mean is like it's a recommendation with a but,
right?
You know,
Yeah, no,
you have to suffer through something I don't think is that great to something I think is awful to something I think is whatever to something I think is awesome.
I think this is the kind of game you don't... I mean, if you're someone who really likes games and you like trying new things, this is a good game. If you don't have time to waste and you just want to play good games, don't play this. Yeah, I don't think you're going to like this.
You could pass this if you've got time concerns or budget concerns.
But if you're like into games like us and you like trying new things and you want a new experience with somebody, because it's a good co-op experience for sure. It's fun, you know? It's like we're exploring this weird-ass fucking game together. That's part of the experience.
It is. So weird.
Yeah. So what would you rate it?
Well, I just want to say before we get to the rating, I'm very excited to see if they do a Way Out 2 or what the next game is.
I just hope that there's something that spawns from this.
Yes.
Like another kind of game.
Like my Uncharted to Uncharted 2 analogy. I want the next one could be amazing. It doesn't have to be a sequel to this. In fact, I don't want that.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be prison or action even. It could
Just
be anything. But a co-op only game. I love it.
I'm going to give it a 3.555. It's redeemed in the last act, but... You know, I don't think it's like...
But it's not...
I'm going to forget... I'm probably going to forget this game eventually. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the twist is so cool. It's like a very weird thing. I don't get this experience a lot where a lot of it is like whatever. I would forget.
For me, that makes it better. It's like when I see a movie, and I don't know what to think of this. It's like, for me, because it's like, I'm going to remember. I'm not going to forget this game.
Yeah. I think I would... It had it ended where I said it should have with the dude dead in the
then I would have
water.
forgotten
Then
it.
we would have forgotten this whole thing. It would have been a great experience. It would have been fun.
But we had a very emotional experience at the end.
It had a great peak. And I don't know if that was the intention. Was it specifically designed to be not great and then really hammer
No.
it? You know?
No way.
But...
Because they could have even built that up more.
Right.
You know, that could have been crazy.
But now but here's the thing. They can't do a 2 because we already know that the twist where it becomes
but they could
co-op
do
is
something else. There's got to be
competitive.
other twists on this formula.
So what do you rate it?
I'm going to give it a 3.8, actually.
Okay.
Yeah. What about our snack?
Yeah, I was thinking like it has to be sloppy prison food, like
Ew.
like
a sloppy Joe.
meatloaf.
How about
and,
like a barbecue pork? No, I want it to be
that's
good.
That's too nice. No, it's prison, dude.
This is my snack, okay?
Okay.
Fuck you. This is a way out of bad food.
Yeah. You get
barbecue pork.
You get room temperature frozen peas.
No.
You get stale cornbread.
I want nice cornbread, barbecue pork, and green beans.
And you get mystery meat surprise.
I would think that like shredded like sloppy food. That's terrible gaming snacks. Really terrible.
Oh, awful. But
you know, that's what
you
get.
gotta eat prison food if you're in prison. Well, what do you say we get to the news and then get on out of here? Okay, for context of the news segment, it is May 23rd, 2018. So maybe something cool happens within the next week, right? This is going up next week.
Yes, this is going
Okay.
up next Wednesday.
Morrowind, nope, that's not what it's called. Elder Scrolls Online, the new expansion is out. Somerset. It gets you a new area. I think that's where the High Elves are from.
I heard about this.
And it gets some new abilities, and I'm sure it gives you more stuff. I don't play that game, but
Well, we were thinking about trying it.
exactly. This has put it back on my radar of like, oh yeah, that game, and I really want to go into it. We don't have to get this with all the expansions. Like, the only one I want to make sure we get is one with Morrowind, because Morrowind's the one I have the most. I think Morrowind is the most unique looking. Did you play like Oblivion?
I played a little bit of Oblivion. I played most of Skyrim.
But no Morrowind, right?
But no Morrowind.
So Oblivion is just like kind of high fantasy, like castles and
Oh, you mean the stuff I like?
no, I think you'd still like Morrowind.
Yeah.
And Skyrim is just like Nordic, like tribal village stuff like that. Morrowind is like giant mushrooms and like weird shit.
Like foresty more.
Foresty, but mushrooms. Like
you're about the mushrooms.
I love
huh?
mushrooms.
Okay, I know you love mushrooms.
Anyways, Somerset expansion, Morrowind. It's out now. Go play it.
Yeah, we might do that. We had fun with our first MMO, Secret World Legends. You should listen to that episode if you're interested in like thinking about MMOs for a friend because it's free. This is not free.
This is not free.
But it's not a bad price. It's not a subscription. You just buy once.
I like that.
And the way I looked at it, and you can buy an expansion, and it comes with the base game, so we could get Morrowind.
The Morrowind, because that's the one I'm like, that's the interesting one.
That could be a good summer thing we do.
Yeah, especially the drought is starting. I don't think the gaming drought. So today, the 23rd, like I said, was the reveal of Battlefield 5. So there's a new Battlefield 5 trailer, and during the reveal event, they said a word that you might like. They said the word co-op.
I heard it. My ears perked. I was at work, and I was like, oh, co-op? I don't give a fuck about Battlefield 5, but...
So I think it looks like it has a lot of content.
We just saw just a trailer.
I know nothing about this game, and I'm not going to commit to it until I see the maps, because my problem with Battlefield 3 and 4 is the maps get linear and linear and linearer. And like Battlefield is about like fucking battlefields. It's in the name, man. A field.
A field is not linear.
So I want to check out the maps. I want to kind of see what people say about it. I'm not going in now, and it's just been one little trailer that could also be fake. It might not be actual gameplay. It presents itself as gameplay, and it looks crazy.
It's really confusing.
What?
It
the
just
transition?
Yeah. Well, I was like, is this gameplay or is this not gameplay?
The Frostbite engine does look that good, if you ask me. Like, Battlefield 1 looks insane. Battlefront looks insane.
But I think the things that were happening didn't seem like...
The stuff happening was pretty scripted, I'd say. Like, in the sense that 2 planes flying perfectly together like that won't happen.
Right.
And 3 people charging out of the smoke probably won't happen very often. But have you ever played any Battlefield?
No.
I will say... I feel like I have war stories from playing Battlefield.
Okay,
so, like, it does have some sort of... It has that little magic, at least for me, that gets me excited. And I hope this has magic, because I want to go back to a Battlefield game, but they've been meh. In Japan, Nintendo is releasing a Switch that is just a Switch console and 2 Joy-Cons. No dock. And it's $50 cheaper. Or 50 well, I think someone did the conversion, and it was $50 cheaper. I think that's an interesting concept. They're marketing it in Japan as, hey, do you want another Switch? Buy this one. And I assume that's for like you got 2 kids, but you only need one dock.
Yeah, that's true.
You've only got one TV. But I think it's cool because I would probably, had they offered the 2 options, I don't know, looking back is 2020 or whatever they say. But
hindsight's 2020.
Looking back is 40/80. But the dock is cool, but I play my Switch primarily not docked.
I play my Switch primarily docked.
So I think I would have been like, oh, I'll get this one. It's cheaper, and I don't care.
Yeah.
But I just thought it was interesting. Like, they are...
I mean, at least they're providing the option.
They're giving you the option, and they're taking away a required part. Or, you know what I mean? Like, now no one can say, like, you're required to have this.
Right.
Well, you could.
Well, you never were.
That's true.
You know?
But, yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. They just added that in, and it felt like, oh, this is part of getting a Switch, you know?
It never really... I was just... Yeah, you're right.
Thank you. I am always right. I love when people say that I'm right.
And the last piece of news, Halo. There's a new Halo, and it's co-op.
What?
And it costs a lot of money because it's a Dave & Buster's exclusive arcade shooting gun cabinet.
Wow.
It's called...
We can go play that.
Yeah, we're going to, and we're going to make a video about it.
Dude, it's been a while since we've been to Dave & Buster's.
It's called Halo Fireteam Raven. And it's got a very big cabinet and it's 2 machine gun controllers, So it's your
Oh,
standard Jurassic Park or House of the Dead type, like shooting with the
right.
guns. But
It's like the one you get
technically,
in and sit,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And it's huge. It might have, I don't know. I didn't watch the reveal trailer because I don't think there's much to
I mean,
see.
that's crazy to
You're
me that
gonna
they
shoot
have a
stuff.
revealed trailer.
But it may even have, that one with the Star Wars pod, but there's also the Ace Combat, I think, one where it blows wind at you.
Right.
Most if
4D,
if
man.
I'm going into an arcade cabinet,
4D.
like start adding that shit in. Like make it like an experience you can only get there. And
I
that's how
liked
you
that
save.
one, the zombie one that was 4D, and it like read your heart rate and it could tell you when you were too
Oh
scared.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
That was cool. It read your heart rate from your pulse on your hand when you were
Because
holding the
you had to hold
guns.
the little
That was
metal.
fucking cool.
It's coming to U.S. and Canada, Dave and Buster's this summer. Look out for Save Together content about that because I think that's
I
stupid
just
and
hope it
fun.
comes to the New York. Aren't there
It
two?
will.
New York? Oh, okay, that
There's
place
no
is
way it
packed
won't.
as fuck.
Oh yes, our video will be annoying because there'll be kids popping in and like
Oh my god, yeah.
yeah. Um, but I don't know. That's just a dumb piece of
That's
news I threw in
goofy.
here. But
I
it's
like
funny that
it.
it's a new Halo game and it's an arcade game,
That's so weird.
but it's technically co-op. Or it's also solo because you could just hold both guns and you could be the
True,
Terminator.
but it's co-op.
So how do you think we did? That's the end of the episode.
I think 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10. Now let's get
a lovely comeback.
let's find a way out of here. I stole that from you
Yeah.
because you did it earlier.
Yeah, you
so really I
did.
can't.
That's okay.
But that's a good way to end it.
Okay.
So I'll say it again. You can say it.
Okay. Let's get a way out.